Good day, everyone. My name is Dave Partner. I'm a software engineer. Been a software engineer for many years. I'm a startup founder and a tutor online. So today I'm going to talk about a field of the blockchain that many people are not talking about yet. First of all, I will introduce a term called transhumanism. So some scientists believe that in the future, near future, they will be able to advance the human body so much that it will make sense that you don't call those kind of humans humans again. So they become sort of post-humans. A good example is if a man loses his leg, you could fix a prosthetic leg. That person becomes a cyborg. Anybody with a prosthetic leg is a cyborg. That's half human, half machine. What of heart pacemaker? So humans have been integrating machines into this physical body. And someday, scientists feel that they will get to a point where a person will look so different, so advanced than a regular human that they can no longer be classified as humans. Now, a subsection of this transhumanism is called digital humanism. So some scientists believe that in the near future, technology will advance to the point where some humans will exist only as softwares without any physical body. How is this possible? One way it is possible is that picture an old person, 99 years old, 100 years old. I don't know if you have seen somebody like that. Their brain is intact, their mental faculties is intact, but their body is dying. Should we allow such a person to die? So these scientists believe that there will be technology that possibly you can put on the head of the person and scan the brain and put it on the internet. The person becomes a software, their body can die if it wants. That's digital humanism. And they estimate that there are billions of digital humans that exist in the future. We're just trying to make them come into existence. Now let's imagine that this thing is true, that there are digital humans in the future. What problems would they face? The first biggest problem is if your mind is on the internet, you're exposed to virus attack. That's digital corruption. Somebody from the street here can hack Albert Einstein's mind, and now Albert Einstein is some Chukwuemeka Shegu. Now, how do we prevent that? There's only one way. It has to be on the blockchain. Blockchain has already largely solved the problem of hacking. Now, another problem such people would face is the problem of having their emotions fixed. Now, picture a scenario where we have built, somebody has written an algorithm that represents the human mind, and this guy is existing on the internet. He can chat with his family members, he can make phone calls, everything any human being can do, but it doesn't have a physical location. How do we store this person's emotions? It has to be on the blockchain, because we don't want the emotions changed or confused. What you felt yesterday, the level of happiness you felt yesterday is different from the ones you felt today. The level of curiosity, anger, and all those emotions. We have to take snapshots of it and attach it to your digital identity. We also have to save your memory. These are the things that collectively make up your consciousness. It should never be confused. It should never be hackable. This is blockchain. Currently, there are over 500 funded startups that are working on this now. Over 500. And one of them is the popular one by Elon Musk. That's the Neuralink startup. I don't know if you've heard of it. Bill Gates looked at it and was so convinced of the potentials of what Elon Musk is doing with the Neuralink that he invested $1 billion into it. And what is Musk doing? He wants to attach a device behind the human ear here, and then that device goes into your brain, and now it enhances things like your memory, your cognitive functions. Now you see things you will never forget. It enhances your processing capability. Now you can do math that you couldn't do before. And this is what they are already test running right now. So imagine what will happen in 10, 20 years' time. They are gradually fusing technology into the human brain. We are going to get to that point where, theoretically, the entirety of the human brain can be transmitted into technology. Now, is this even possible? A lot of people will argue against this, that human consciousness cannot be transmitted into something else. But the counter-argument is that consciousness is in levels. The consciousness a professor has over mathematics is different from the consciousness a 100-level student will have over the same mathematics. A professor can look at the same problem and see other dimensions of it. So, if we keep reducing it, we can see that the consciousness of an ant is different from the consciousness of a dog, different from the consciousness of a human. And I can tell you, based on that analogy, computers have already gained consciousness as we speak. Because you can pass values into them, they process it and give you back. They have memory also. The only problem is that their consciousness has not got to the point that we are talking about in this discussion. So let's analyze one or two of the most complex human functions and see whether, theoretically, is it even possible that computers can imitate that one day? Are humans the only living things that have emotions? That's a big question. Emotions are some of the most complex things that we do as humans. But then other animals have it. We know that dogs can be happy too. Dogs can be jealous. They can be angry. They can have rage. And a whole lot of things, including curiosity. The only difference is that ours is at a higher level. Now, how do you know that a dog is angry? You don't go into the brain of the dog to figure out whether the dog is angry. The way you know is by the external observation, the reaction of the dog. So if we get to a point where a computer is angry, how would we know? By looking at the algorithm? No. We're just going to observe what the computer is doing. So let's look at three emotions. And this is very controversial, but it calls for debate. That is love, like, and hate. If we can figure out a pseudocode, programmers know what pseudocode is. Basically, verbal descriptions of possible algorithms. If we can break these things down into pseudocode, then we can write codes in software that can do this. If we can write software that can imitate love, like, and hate, and other emotions, then it follows that someday we can scan the human brain and transmit it into a computer, and it will have those emotions too. So, here's a simplistic description. We have love, and many people think that hate is the opposite of love. No, it's just a solution. Like when your car breaks down, you change the tire. Changing the tire is not the opposite of a car moving. It's just a solution for when the car breaks down. So, when a human being loves, not just a human being, any animal is in love, the brain of the person plots a triangle. In that triangle, the lover is at the top, mentally, all right? This is happening in the brain of the lover. And then the person they are loving is somewhere on the pyramid. Now, the person that is in love at the top owes a duty of protection and provision to the person they are loving, but then they believe that the person they love owes them a duty of loyalty. A good example, if you're walking on the road and somebody slaps you, you might take a step back and try to find out why they did that. But if you're walking with your mother and somebody slaps your mother, you go berserk. You don't care about the reason. Because what? You love your mother and you owe her a duty of protection. Now, let's reverse it. Imagine a daughter being wayward. That is disloyal to the father. What does the father do? The father tries to rescue the situation by cutting her off. That's when fathers say, I disown you. What is that disowning? That is, a section of that pyramid has exhibited disloyalty. Now the lover wants to destroy the pyramid. So he cuts the connection. Or he destroys the person that is disloyal, or he destroys himself. These are the three ways you can destroy the pyramid. So think of it in a real life scenario. Somebody catches his wife cheating. What does he do? He tries to destroy the pyramid in either of these three ways. Either destroy the lover, destroy the connection, or destroy himself. This explains a lot of things about love, but not all. So now we can see the pseudocode. What happens if this happens? This is how this should react. If that happens, this is how it should react. That is pseudocode. Maybe somebody here can someday actually write the software code to reflect this. And remember, we don't have to look at the code to know whether the computer is in love. We watch the reaction. If your phone loves you today, how would you know? By looking at the Android code? No. It's by the reaction. Maybe it checks up on you. How are you doing? How is the event going? Just SMS, you reply. After some time, you can be convinced. Now, all these things, to an extent, there's a strong argument that it is possible. And that is why a lot of billionaires are investing in these cognitive technologies. And I believe that blockchain has a very big role to play in this. And then I'm going to close my speech today with just one quote about long life. Scientists have been trying so hard to extend the human life, and this is just one way that effort has been. Now, there's an age-long quote that says, "The earth is not our home. We're just travelers passing through." But the potentials of the future make me want to ask, are we still travelers passing through? If some way, someday, somehow, we figure out how to extend human life and stay here forever. Thank you very much.